and starring, of course, Sylvester Stallone, Michael B. Jordan, Dolph Lundgren, Tessa Thompson, as well as playing Victor Drago, Florin Manitou, Florin Manitou, and Vasilia Rashad, who also came on the Cosby Show. So up to this point, Creed he's a fighting champion. He is on top of the world. He's defending his belt against all comers, and I mean, nothing could go wrong. Enter Ivan Drago and his son Victor Drago as a new challenge to challenge him to not only to fight for the title, but to end his legacy the way they ended, of course, Apollo Creed's legacy in the original Rocky Four. So now he has to find out, is he fighting to avenge his father's death, or is he fighting for himself? Or is he fighting because he wants to avenge, he wants to kill his father's murder by vanquishing Victor Drago, his son? So, okay, in the beginning of this movie, really, this movie, don't expect this movie to be, the pacing to be really quick or anything like that. This is a boxing drama at its purest form, so you're not really going to see a whole lot of action or anything. There is a training montage in here, but this is more of a drama. Grabs elements from the original Rocky, especially Rocky 3 and 4, to kind of like to build the story arc that it builds, and it kind of builds on it a little bit. It doesn't really, you don't really see a whole lot of, you see character development between Adonis and his wife, who ends up marrying the singer, his wife. He proposes to her, and also Rocky Balboa, but you don't really see too much from Ivan Drago or Victor Drago. Only that they're kind of, this is the movie you might have seen had they have done a sequel to Rocky Four and did it right after Ivan Drago lost the fight to Rocky Balboa. So Ivan Drago has been living in the Ukraine for years. He's raised his son by himself. Basically, his wife Ludmila, Bridget Nelson, is on here as well, and it's just a shock to see her, of course. So, and she left him. Basically, she's married to somebody else, and now Ivan Drago is trying to live with the guilt, the pain of his loss to Rocky Balboa, and he wants to avenge the loss and end the Balboa legacy by ending the Creed legacy. So he goes to challenge Adonis Creed, and at first you see it's pretty obvious that this is Rocky 2 right here, because Adonis loses to Victor Drago by disqualification, because he doesn't actually beat him, but he kind of disqualifies himself by knocking him out as he's down to one knee. So Adonis basically has to do like in Rocky 3 to go back to basics training, and at first Rocky Balboa does not want to train him. So he's kind of bitter towards him because of that, and Rocky Balboa is basically living by himself and going to visit Adrian and what's left of his life. He's really Rocky Balboa's at the end of his life, because you guys remember in the original Creed movie he had cancer. It doesn't mention anything about that except when Adonis is angry with him. I'll get to that right now. So basically, this character, as far as character building is concerned, this does really well. Michael B. Jordan, as usual, delivers a knockout performance, and Tessa Thompson, it really delivers in such a charming, at the same time, angelic sense in her delivery, because she is a singer and she's kind of like like what Adrian was to Rocky Balboa. So she's kind of takes the role, but this is a different dynamic between Bianca, if I'm not corrected, and Adonis, because I've always liked, probably the best on-screen romance for me in any film, it was Rocky Balboa and Talia Shire, Adrian on the original Rocky movies. But on here, they really do they're not really copying that per se, but they kind of build on something, their own on-screen chemistry between Tessa Thompson and Michael B. Jordan. So Rocky's basically living by himself, and it is just really sad to see your one of the most iconic movie characters and actors to I watching this movie, seeing Stallone so old and decrepit, and he still got it. The guy still got it. He still got some amazing acting chops because he does not another just inspiring performance on here as Rocky Balboa. Because at first, so Adonis asks Rocky to train him again, and Rocky's reluctant to do it, and he tells him, he asks him a question: what is he really doing this for? Is he fighting for himself? Is he fighting to avenge his father's death, to make sure the Creed legacy is not tarnished? Is he just fighting because he wants to have the same pleasure of killing Drago's son to avenge his father's death? So Rocky's reluctant to trade him at first, and he doesn't want to trade him, right? So Adonis is bitter at him, and he's inside the hospital, and just nursing his wounds because he's suffered cracked ribs, and different injuries from his first battle with. It must have been. I mean, really, you guys honestly think that Victor Drago was going to win this fight? Probably not. But is Victor Drago a credible character? Yes, he is. If they add Ivan Drago, yes, they are, because they're a very vital part of this movie. The only problem with this, they're not given enough time to really tell their story. So basically, like I said, Ivan Drago has been living with his loss for years, and his wife Lamilda Bridget Nielsen has left him, and is married to another man, and basically Victor is bitter towards his mother because she married another man, and I don't even know her. So you kind of get to see this guy Florian do some acting, but he's just basically, this guy's a monster. This kid is a monster, and he looks the part. But the only problem with this is if they would have delved into a little bit more Ivan Drago and Victor Drago's pain, I think this movie probably would have been a little bit longer. But to me, it kind of looked like it was cut short, because I'm gonna explain that to you after this video. So spoilers, so be ready for them. So finally, Rocky agrees to train him, and he goes back to basics. And this is where Rocky 3 comes in, because he's training with he hooks up with a guy that trained Apollo Creed trained his father to help him train as well. So he goes to a really brutal training regimen, as well as Victor Drago. So yeah, this movie does have music in it. It doesn't seem so commercial like you might expect. It does have music, mostly rap music, and the score is just beautiful. You're really you could just hear the Rocky theme very low in the background, but that's the Rocky theme. So the score of this movie is amazing, and of course they got the hip hop music because they want to reach younger audiences. So Adonis finally is able to get in the ring, and of course, as far as the fight scenes are concerned, at first the first battle between Adonis and Victor is actually really good, but there's some shaky cam going on in there. It kind of looks a little bit back and forth, like. But and this as the second encounter, though the final encounter of the film, it looks a lot more like they kind of montage through it like Rocky Four. So I'm not sure if the director did that intentionally, but I'm not quite sure though. But so he's able to avenge himself. Basically, the movie begs the question: is he doing it for himself or his father, or those other variables I talked about earlier? So he basically he does it for himself, and he wins, of course. Of course he's gonna win, right? And so before I end this review. So Rocky goes to see his son Robert finally after years. He hasn't been talking. He hadn't spoken to him in a long time, and he goes to visit him finally, and he invites him in, of course. And then you kind of just see Ivan Drago and Victor Drago training again. And I hope that wasn't stock footage, but so okay. So this movie basically it. I'm gonna before I talk about the spoilers and what I think is missing from this movie. I'm gonna rate this movie. Okay, I'm gonna give this movie an A. It was really hard to classify what I was gonna give, what rating I was gonna give. It's definitely not an A plus. Or I was gonna give it a B plus. So I decided to give it an A because it is an engaging boxing drama. It is once again Michael B. Jordan just tears it out of the gate. As everybody on this movie is just amazing, just awesome. I mean, there's nothing really wrong with it. I think it's just the story emphasis that really kind of lacks a little bit, like more cohesiveness, more depth in the story because you kind of feel sorry for Victor Drago and Ivan Drago because they have resentment towards his ex-wife Lamilda, but they don't really. It does not really explore it enough. But if it would have been explored enough, then the movie might have seemed a little bit more convoluted. It would have seemed convoluted, and people, so. And of course, the once again, I just want to thank everybody who's been subscribing to my channel. You guys rock. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, now I want to get to some stuff. Okay, some spoilers here. You guys might. I hope you guys are aware of this, because it's in the internet. Because in an age of trailers being exposing every interesting and aspect of a movie, it takes away the mystique and the surprise of going to see a film now because they basically show everything. So there is a scene that I saw on the internet. You guys can check it out, where Ivan Drago actually has a tussle with, or a fight with Rocky Balboa inside the hospital where Adonis Creed is recovering from his injuries. So I was waiting for that scene to come on. I was just like, yeah, man, I'm gonna go see this. This movie's gonna be just awesome. And I was kind of disappointed because I think they deleted that scene. I think they thought maybe the scene would have been a little bit too much, into the sequence of the film, and it probably wouldn't have fit in the sequence. I think it would have fit great. It's just that I think time constraints really, and there's also another scene where Adonis is arguing with Rocky Balboa that was cut out, and he's because you guys, those of you see this movie, he's bitter with Rocky Balboa for not wanting to train him. So basically, this movie is definitely worth watching, but I just think that it was missing more focused story, more focused script. It seemed because and then plus the final fight seems very much reminiscent of Rocky Four. It's very montaged, and the first battle was like some shaky cam going on in there. But other than that, this movie's pretty awesome. Like I said, I gave it an A because it's definitely not an A plus because, like I said, it's kind of lacking. I walked out of the theater basically at the end fight. The movie becomes not a Creed movie; it becomes a Rocky movie because they put the Rocky theme as Adonis is conquering Victor Drago. So this movie becomes a Rocky movie. So how do they expect Michael B. Jordan to carry this movie if they? I understand the nostalgic and the respect for such an amazing accomplishment for Sylvester Stallone, but I really think they should have let Michael B. Jordan make this movie more his own because I guess you could say this movie in some aspects is better than the first one. So I can't say if it's better than the first one, but I think I definitely love the first one, and I thought it was a really good one. It was on my best of list, best movies of the years of 2015. So tell me what you think about this video. This movie is definitely gonna has an Oscar nod and Academy Award for sure because it is powerfully acted. beautifully made, and it is just an amazing boxing drama. But of course, what I told you guys, the problems of the film. So please like this video, comment below. What do you want to see? Do you think they're gonna do another Creed movie? You think there's room for it? Um, I don't think so, but it doesn't make any sense the way it kind of ends a little bit abruptly. With you see Ivan Drago, Victor Drago trained again, or it might be stock footage. I hope not. And what do you think? You think they're gonna do a Creed 3? You think it makes any sense to make another one? I think they should just leave Well alone. And also, I want to also talk about something I heard on YouTube as well. The director's thinking about making another prequel, maybe a Rocky multiverse, because he's thinking about building a story on the Ivan Drago saga, basically Ivan Drago, because there is so much going on right there, but it was not explored enough to really just basically take it all in, you know. So, but you do really, I do actually feel sorry for Ivan Drago on here because there is not enough time really to let that part of the story flourish at all on the screen. But like I said, okay, help me reach the 2,000 subscribers, please, guys. I let people know about this vlog. Share this video. Hit that notification bell because I'm on a rampage right now. All right, I'm making video after video. Okay, all right. I'll see you guys real soon. Peace out.